He joined us for the Never Will's End record, and it was really at a critical stage of the production or pre-production of the album, when we had tried out to work with several other guys that were supposed to help us with keyboard stuff and the orchestral stuff, because if you want to do it, of course you want to do it right. Yeah. And since nobody of us is like a studied conductor or that very well versed working with a whole orchestra, we definitely needed someone who could put our ideas in the proper form. And when we first heard the first drafts that Joost had done, after several disappointments, to be honest, not with Joost but with other guys that we tried out, it was really blowing our minds.
This is it.
Yeah. And then after we worked together for a longer period of time, we decided that it was definitely a good thing to have him on board, production-wise. And so there was no need for stopping, and we kind of evolved together and created something great, I think.
I'd like to speak about your live shows. I mean, you mentioned your first tour of the States. What about the performances you did in Dubai and India? I'm curious of your experiences, of what you remember of those.
I mean, it was definitely a crazy trip. And in the middle of this trip, it was my birthday, so it was.
You speak of the Dubai gig?
Yeah. So it was definitely a lot of partying going on. But of course, I remember many things and impressions that we had, especially when in the how do you put it? That we did the India show first and then went to Dubai was kind of a crazy thing to see, because in India you have this culture which is like thousands of years old. Mm-hmm. And
they have a thriving metal scene over there.
They do. We played a kind of a university campus festival. And we did not know what to expect and how many people would even know us or stay for our show. Mm-hmm. And then at the end we had like 2,500 people in front of our stage. It was amazing. And then of course you get to see some of the city and the landscape, and it was really impressive. And just like an organically grown culture for thousands of years. And then we went to Dubai, where everything is just so clean, where you get the feeling that they wipe the streets twice a day, so that everything looks kind of like a I don't know, business Disneyland or something like that. Yeah. And also in this place, it was strange to see such a vivid metal scene. And there was, when I mentioned my birthday, it was a really cool experience that we flew on that day from India to Dubai and arrived there, and the promoter of the Dubai show took us around to see some of the city, and then we went into one of these 5-star hotels that are there on every corner, basically, of the streets. And when we ended there, we did not really know what to expect, of course, but then on the first floor they had a full-blown metal bar there, where we met guys of Dubaian metal band Svengali, which are really cool guys.
I've heard them, yes.
And so yeah, it was a great night and a great trip, because it was two countries with so different cultures, but both of them had this vivid music scene and metal scene, and that was really, really impressive.
And you've got also a few gigs scheduled in China this year. That should be interesting. What are you expecting from that?
Actually, I don't really know what to expect, and I don't know if I really want to have any expectations, because I like the fact I like to be surprised.
Have you had?
I heard a lot of good things. If people go to China or return from China and have played gigs there, everybody says it's amazing. And yeah, of course, I'm curious as always.
Yeah, that should be really interesting. Right. Xandria has never released an official DVD. Do you plan to do this in the near future? I mean, you've got quite a few promo clips, and I'm sure you've got a lot of live footage too.
This is something that would definitely be really interesting to do, but once again, if you do it, I think you should do it right. So we should put a lot of mind work and a lot of thoughts into this. I would love to do it with additional musicians, maybe with an orchestra. That would be awesome, because it would really represent also the cinematic and soundtrack-like aspects of our music. So this is something that I would love to do, but then of course it's going to be a huge production that demands such a lot of time and effort that you cannot do it just
takes a lot of planning, I guess.
On the side, yeah.
A couple of quick questions. I'm nearing the end of what I had prepared for you. About the lineup. I mentioned Manuela. Were you surprised when she announced her departure after recording just one album with you?
Yes, we were. I mean, you cannot force anyone into anything, and so once she had laid out for us what her motivations were to not continue this way of life and this the way we want to pursue our musical efforts. Of course, we were surprised, but on the other hand, she was also new to, of course, certain aspects of her job, so to speak, in Xandria. She had never been had never been a front woman on that level.
It's not like Diane; she was already in a band before.
Yeah, I mean, also Manuela had her experiences, but maybe she was also a little disappointed with some things, how the music industry works, and that might have also affected her decision in that case. So we were disappointed, and of course we were devastated. But in the end, everything turned out for the better, and also I always like to mention that we had to replace another person in the year before when Niels left and Steven joined us as a new bass player, and I always take these two lineup changes together because it leads to the conclusion that we are having the best chemistry in the band that we ever had right now. So it all turned out.
That's your feeling. That's right.
Yeah, it all turned out for the best, and we're really happy that we could manage to get to this point where we are now, and we are really happy to have Diana and Steven on board.
Right, and what did Steven bring on board? Is he also involved in the compositional aspect of the music? Is he active?
He is not that much beyond his bass parts. He's maybe not the most songwriting kind of guy, but what he brings to the band, next to his technical skills as a bass player, of course, is that he is just totally positively spirited, and that after many years on the road with other bands, and he knows what this business is like and what it's like if you're a band that is not Metallica or some super rock star band, what touring is like, and that is also that it can be rough, a life with rough moments, so to speak. And he manages to keep a totally positive spirit. And
it's no pain, no gain. You have to suffer sometimes to get where you want to get.
Yeah, and he joined the band when we definitely needed someone who just had this power and energy and positivity.
Okay, one last thing I want to ask, maybe light-hearted question. Which Xandria album best represents the band, and why?
Of course, It is always the latest output that represents the band the best, and this is not promo talk. This is just how bands and people evolve. So I would definitely have to say that we are very happy with the way this latest EP turned out, and we are really convinced that also the next record that, like I said, is planned to be released in 2016 will be showing that we have taken yet another step with our material and the direction that we want to go to.
By the way, is there a title for this new album yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay. No. We'll keep watching and checking out your website too.
Yes, please do so.
Keep informed.
All right.
Philip, thank you very much. Pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure was all mine.